season matchup in mid-April, Knicks or Celtics?
Answer the question.
The Knicks. The Celtics really don't have anything at stake. Again, they're the favorites, okay? They're pretty much locked into the 2 seed. They don't have anything to sweat here. The Knicks are the team that has to prove that they're really a legitimate championship contender. Yeah, they went to the conference finals last year. It wasn't good enough, though. All that did was got their coach fired. And the one thing I want to see the Knicks prove here is that Cat can be a functional focal point of the offense. There's too many games with Cat where, you look up and after 3 quarters, he's got 4 or 5 shots, 2 shots. There's just something's not been right with the Knicks all season long. I think they've got a ton to prove, not just tonight, but really going into the playoffs.
Monica, we gave you a homework assignment. Of course, you're around this team all the time. Give us a Knicks checklist. What do they have to do to get right in order to make a deeper playoff run than last year?
McMahon nailed it in terms of the Cat piece of it all. But when I look at it, assuming that that's going to come along, there's a few categories that I see where, and the Cat is a part of this, when they're clicking in these areas, good things typically happen. They got to get to the offensive rebounds because there's not a ton of easy baskets being generated by this squad outside of off of defensive steals. But boards is something you can bank on with them. When they shoot the 3 well, that usually means that Jalen Brunson's playing well, that OG Anunoby and Landry Shamet Bridges are hitting those corner threes. It means that Cat is stepping into those trail threes and knocking those down. That's a good formula. And that does something for their whole mindset, which then you see the defense that has climbed to a top 10 defensive rated team show up, and they can hold teams under 110, and they've got to keep other teams from killing them on the three-point line. Because, goodness gracious, so much has been tied to what's happening on that three-point line when you watch this team closely this season.
We watched them earlier, just recently they lost to Charlotte. They got blown out. But then they play the Bulls, and they're up 20-1. Jekyll and Hyde team, what do you make of the Knicks?
You know exactly what to make of the Knicks. They're going to be consistently inconsistent. And I think Carl Thompson, with as many players who has a lot on the line this postseason, nobody has a bigger spotlight on him than Karl Anthony Towns. And so much of that is going to be, whether he winds up in a Giannis trade, right? Yep. And so much of that is going to be dependent on how he plays this postseason. And it can't just be.
What's up, everybody? We are back. And today we are watching Get Up, Monica McNutt, Tim, Mike, and the crew. They're talking about the Knicks and Celtics. And Monica McNutt just dropped a Knicks checklist that every fan in New York needs to hear. Let me set the scene. The Knicks play the Celtics tonight at Madison Square Garden. It's mid-April. The playoffs are right around the corner. And Monica, who is around this team all the time, gave us 3 things the Knicks need to do to make a deeper playoff run than last year. Number 1. Offensive rebounds. Monica said, there's not a ton of easy baskets being generated by this squad outside of off-defensive steals. But O-boards are something you can bank on with them. And she's right. The Knicks are one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league. Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, even Brunson sneaks in there. Second chance points are how they win ugly games. In the playoffs, when the offense stalls, crashing the glass is a non-negotiable. Number 2. 3-point shooting. Monica said, when they shoot the 3 well, that usually means Jalen Brunson's playing well, that OG Anunoby and Quentin Grimes and Mikal Bridges are hitting those corner threes, that Karl Anthony Towns is stepping into those trail threes and knocking them down. That's the formula. Brunson collapses the defense, kicks to shooters, and Towns spaces the floor. When that's working, the Knicks are impossible to guard. Number 3. Defense. Monica sigh. The defense has climbed to a top 10 defensive-rated team. But they've got to keep other teams from killing them on the 3-point line. Goodness gracious, she said. So much has been tied to what's happening on that 3-point line when you watch this team closely this season. And that's the concern. The Knicks have been a Jekyll and Hyde team all year. They lost to Charlotte, got blown out. Then they played the Bulls and were up 20-1. Consistency is the issue. Now, let's talk about Karl Anthony Towns. Because the panel, especially Mike, said something that's been on my mind. He said, with as many players who have a lot on the line this postseason, nobody has a bigger spotlight on him than Karl Anthony Towns. And he's right. So much of Towns' future, whether he ends up in a Giannis trade, whether he gets moved this summer, depends on how he plays in these playoffs. And it can't just be offensive rebounding and scoring. He has to be a primary focal point on offense. Monica said, I don't know if the Knicks have found a formula for that just yet. That's scary. Because if Towns isn't featured, if he's standing in the corner for 3 quarters with 4 or 5 shots, the Knicks are not reaching their ceiling. Tim on the panel added that the Knicks have a ton to prove, not just tonight but going into the playoffs. He said, they went to the conference finals last year. It wasn't good enough though. All that did was get their coach fired. That's harsh but true. Tom Thibodeau was fired after a conference finals appearance. The expectations in New York are different now. It's championship or bust. Now, let's talk about the Celtics. The panel agreed that the Celtics don't really have anything at stake tonight. They're locked into the 2 seed. They're the favorites in the East. But Tim made an interesting point. He said, the Knicks are the team that has to prove that they're really a legitimate championship contender. And that's the pressure. The Celtics have already proven it. They won the title 2 years ago. They've been there. The Knicks haven't. Monica also talked about the Cavaliers briefly. She said she's not buying them just yet. She said, they have not shown me to be the second best team in the Eastern Conference. Have they played good ball? Has James Harden made sense? Yes. But I'm hesitant to buy that you add a star of James Harden's caliber, even though he's in a different role, and expect it to work year 1. That's fair. Chemistry takes time. And the Cavs are trying to figure it out on the fly. But back to the Knicks. Here's my concern. They've been consistently inconsistent. They lost to Charlotte. They got blown out by bad teams. They beat good teams. Which version shows up in the playoffs? Monica's checklist is the answer. If they rebound, if they hit threes, if they defend the arc, they can beat anyone. If they don't, they're a first-round exit. And here's the bold prediction that wasn't stated but was imply. Monica believes in this team. She believes that when the lights are brightest, Jalen Brunson will show up. And that's the difference. Brunson is a playoff riser. He's been that guy since his Dallas days. He's not afraid of the moment. Jason Tatum is also a playoff riser, but is coming off an Achilles tear. So the question tonight at MSG is simple. Which star rises? Tatum or Brunson? The panel didn't say it directly, but Monica's checklist is her answer. She thinks the Knicks have the pieces. They just need to put them together. And if they do, they're not just a playoff team. They're a threat to come out of the East. Here's my question for you. Do the Knicks beat the Celtics in a 7-game series? And is Karl-Anthony Towns the X factor or the liability? Drop a comment. Let me know. And if you want more of these breakdowns, hit that like button and subscribe. We are building something real here. I'll see you in the next one.